Hi everybody, Sarah with you today with a little bit of a shaker layout for you. I'm going to be creating using these fun photos of the first kind of signs of spring, and I'm going to be using the Signs of Spring sequin mix. I started with this sequin mix and I'm going to use it through my entire process here for you. It is going to be the inspiration for the products I pull. It's going to be the inspiration for my title, but I'm going to start with some shakers. So I believe in shakers for dummies, which means I have a set of shaker dies from Close to My Heart, and then Close to My Heart also sells the little foam and acetate pieces you need to make the shakers. Another company that does this is Queen & Company. They also sell a little shaker dies and shaker foams and acetate pieces. I never am happy with shakers when I do them from scratch. So my personal preference is to have these kind of shaker elements that you can purchase pre-done. The hard work is done for you. So I'm going to make 3 shakers and I'm going to do each of them the same. I'm going to die cut the 2 shaker pieces from this 6x6 paper pad. This 6x6 pad is a My Mind's Eye pad. It is called Lovely Day. I picked it up at Tuesday morning at the beginning of, the end of May actually. And I got the 6x6 pad and I got the ephemera pack, and I'm just going to go ahead and use just those 2 pieces and then some really old thickers and these beautiful Signs of Spring sequin mix. If you want to grab yourself a set of these sequins, they are still available in the shop, and you can always use my code or my affiliate link that will be down below. Either one will give you a discount. The difference is that the affiliate link will allow me to benefit from your purchase. So now that I have all of these dies cut and ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and create the shakers. So creating these shakers this way, again, so easy. So you take off the foam, you pop it down around the circle. Now, so this is like the easiest way to make a shaker in the history of ever. And do I do it right, even having all of these like shaker for dummy things? Now, I still have to trim it. This is why I buy the foam and the acetate and the dies, because I still can't get it exactly perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is I do add some, this is a little trick for you with the acetate. So if you get, for me, when I do these little fake acetate pieces, I put a little bit of the anti-static powder tool onto the acetate because that helps that clear plastic film to come off easily. Sometimes that clear plastic film on acetate gets really stuck. And for whatever reason, having that little bit of that powder tool helps that clear acetate, that backing for the acetate to just come right off. Peels right off without a problem. Love that. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to fill my shaker up. I'm going to take the backing paper off of the foam piece, add the little acetate, and then I'm going to use Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to kind of make a thin little, oh yeah, I'm trimming because, I always have to trim them no matter what I do. Now we're going to do it. So I'm going to follow. I'm just putting a teeny tiny bit of glue. I don't want it to smush out the edges, so I'm not doing a lot of glue, just a wee little bit, and then I'm going to press down the topper for the sequin shaker, and you get a really nice finished off cute shaker that I really enjoy. So I'm going to go ahead and do this 3 more times, same exact process I just showed you in triplicate. These shakers, one of the fabulous things about them is that this is a great way to use up an entire package of sequins. A layout like this. My layout is going to be 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to go ahead and use another set of circle dies I have to cut circles out of my photos. And then I also went ahead and grabbed a pattern paper and the next size up circle to cut a circle and then a mat for each of my photos. So as I was saying, if you're like me and you have more sequins than you know how to do, more sequins than you know what to do with, this is a really great page design to use up an entire package. I used an entire package of sequins. So I filled the shakers up, and then I kept there were a couple sequins, there were some sequins that didn't make it into the shakers, but that's totally fine because I'm going to use them as part of my layout here in just a little bit. So right now I'm deciding how I want my circles to go. I know I want them to kind of span the middle of my page, and then I'm going to cut little strips for the top and bottom to kind of rein everything in. I don't mind if there's a little bit of gaps between the circles because I'm going to add some die cuts, and then I'm also going to add some sequins to those white spaces, those white gaps. I'm just going to move everything around, kind of decide where I want these larger pieces. Those 3 other circles that you see that are just paper. Okay, those circles are the leftover bits. The 6x6 paper pads that I cut the shakers from were double-sided. So I just flipped them over, and so that gives me more pattern and more pattern circles to use. I'm going to go through the die cuts now, and I'm going to use the die cuts to fill in some of the little gaps. There are some circle die cuts. I'm also going to be using a lot of these little label die cuts. And what these label die cuts are going to do is I'm going to pop them up, and they're going to add some dimension to my layout. So if you were worried about that big open empty space, it's all good. We filled it in with a die cut. I am trying to stick to my three colors I have going on here. This light yellow and pink and the green. I'm going to go ahead and continue to add some of these labels. All the labels are going to get popped up with some foam adhesive at the end as I stick everything down. I'm not going to make you watch me stick everything down because you're going to see me place everything here, and then I'm just going to take my tape runners, very carefully pick up each of those circles and glue them right back down where they are now. And then all the little die cuts that have like the words and things on them, those are all going to be popped up with some foam adhesive. So I'm just going to go through here. I'm going to pick out the die cuts that will work size-wise and that I can put in. And now that I have all of those circle pieces kind of glued down and I know where they're going, I'm cutting 1/2-inch strips from this pattern paper. And again, I'm not using any 12x12 sheets. These are all 6x6. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put these strips. I'm going to put strips at the top and strips at the bottom. They're going to end up, oh, and now I'm going to glue everything down. By the magic of YouTube, you don't need to watch it and see everything went exactly where I put it. For the most part, things always end up a little bit more off when you do it that way, when you don't stick and plunk as you go, but it all fit in just fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue down these strips. Now, tape runner, but you know what I mean. One thing is that I'm going to end up not using the whole 1/2 inch. I'm definitely just doing maybe 1/4, but that's okay because the point of this is to get those joints between the 2 6x6 paper pads in the correct spot so they line up really well, and you can't even tell that I used 2 6x6 papers instead of a 12x12 sheet. Next up is some lettering. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use the title, the name of the sequin mix to inspire my title. So the name of the sequin mix is Signs of Spring, and I'm going to use the title for Signs of Spring, and I'm using some older thickers. I don't remember what the green ones are called. The yellow ones are called Sunny, and they matched perfectly what I was working with for this particular layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do first Signs of in yellow, and then I'm going to use that different font for Spring. So that gives Spring a bit of a color boost onto my project, which I really, really like. And I like that the first signs of is there, and you can see it, but that spring is going to pop because it's on these green glitter thickers in a different font. So now remember that lovely, lovely reserved sequins that I had. We are going to use them. What I'm going to do with them is I'm going to go ahead and pop them down into all of those little white areas. Okay, so I have my crystal katana, I have those extra sequins in there, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop them down into all of the open white spaces. And that's going to complete this layout. Thank you all so much for joining me today. If you haven't grabbed these sequins yet, you can head over to the shop and grab some for yourself. And if you have them already, here is a fantastic way and a beautiful layout design to get them all used up just in time for new releases in July. I hope you all have a fabulous, fabulous day, and I'll see you all again very soon.